What's happening is the neck that shreds. All right, this morning, been thinking, because after seeing, so MSG Network the other night showed a playoff game from 2012, Rangers versus Devils conference finals. It was game 6 when the Devils won, and it got me thinking. Lundqvist era being over with the Rangers, what was their best chance to win the cup? Now, after thinking about this, thinking about that team, thinking about how the NHL was that year, that was the Rangers' year to win in 2012. The reason they didn't win was from poor coaching. Poor coaching, because John Tortorella, to quote one of the greatest things ever said about a coach, Avery said this in his book. He said, or in an interview, I don't know, he said it somewhere, but he said he called John Tortorella an arrogant midget. I mean, come on, that says it all. And apparently Tortorella can't skate or receive a pass. And if anyone's played, and if a coach is telling you something and they themselves can't do it, it's like, get out of my face with that. Even though you may be right, the respect is down, and everyone will tell you the same. But that's another story for another day. But yeah, so poor coaching that year. And you look, so that was Lundqvist's best year. He won the Vezina that year. That was McDonough's best year, Girardi's best year, Callahan, Dubinsky. Stepan. It's really not a coincidence either that Tortorella got fired the next year, and it was the players that fired him. It wasn't results based. When the players, have their meeting at the end of the year with the GM, and I think the players went to Glenn Sather and were like, look, we know we have the players, like, this guy's got to go, which I agree with. So if you had a coach like AV in 11 and 12, I think he would have managed the team a little bit better. I think Tortorella ran those guys into the ground. And he didn't really utilize his bench. He would just play this. The only thing he really ever utilized was he didn't play Lundqvist as much as other teams played their starter. But Tortorella just played 2 lines and like sometimes 3-4 defensemen. And that wears over 82 games, and especially in the playoffs when you're playing double overtime games, and some guys are playing 35 minutes. A game, and with the kind of style he had them playing, blocking shots, doing all that, it's too hard. And it's not a coincidence that the Rangers traded Callahan in 14 for St. Louis with a first-round pick, which was I think was one of the best trades ever pulled off. I was extremely happy that Callahan went. I liked him, but long-term, the Rangers knew it. That guy was done, and he declined every year after that. Same with McDonough. I was happy when they got rid of McDonough. I like McDonough, but look, the Rangers knew he was on the decline, and look, there were other defensemen on Tampa. If you watch this year, like he was part of it, but there were other defensemen who were better. He's not the player he was because he just got worn down. Derek Stepan, but exactly who has even heard from Derek Stepan since he left the New York Rangers? Dubinsky, same thing. Guy shot now from playing like that for so long, and Girardi retired. So I think it definitely wore on those guys, and I think in 2012 they were a better team than the Devils, and I think they were a better team than the Kings that year. In 14 they made it because the Eastern Conference was weak. The West was way stronger. They had no chance of beating LA in 14. Even if they would have made it in 15 when they lost in Game 7 at Tampa, they would have been the exact same results. Whether the Rangers or Tampa played Chicago in 15, it would have been the same results. Chicago would have won. It was just just better. The West was better, but now everything seems to be in the East. But yeah, 2012 was probably the Rangers' best year to win. Just poor coaching, poor management, and just they had a good mix that year. They signed Richards summer of 2011. He was the top free agent available. The 9-year deal. Yikes, but. Look, at the time, I understand why they brought him in. I loved watching Brad Richards play his years with Tampa. He just wasn't that player when he got to New York. But he still had a decent year that first year. I think he wound up with over 60 points, something around there. Gabrick was still elite. And they had toughness. They had skill. They had size. They were a pretty good skating team. I think that was the year. I think they would have matched up well with the Kings, and I think Lundqvist that year could have snuck more games out. In the sense of, like, I think if they would have played the Kings in the Cup Finals that year, like, he could have won them games. Whereas in 14, he tried to do that, and it just wasn't working because the Kings had just too much firepower, and the Rangers were, pretty incompetent that year in certain areas. But yeah, that's that. So 2011, 2012 could have been a good year. Just, poor management, and it's kind of interesting seeing now with the Yankees what they're going through. Like, what's the deal? Aaron Boone staying, or is Aaron Boone out? I don't know. And even David Quinn now with the Rangers, it's like, I get everyone has to start somewhere, but it's like I don't really think he's he's that good of a coach. But it's what he has to work with too. So again, another video, another day. But yeah, that's that. We'll see this year with all the movement. What's gonna happen? Gonna be an interesting year. All right, later.